president is not understanding that they implemented all these projects and products in Mexico.
Every company was like Ford. They had the same footprint we did. We're adjusting both our Mexico as well as our U.S. plants to make sure nothing crosses the border.
14,000 jobs eliminated. 5 factories shut down. A name once symbolic of American industry, Ford, now announces a halt to domestic production. Not because of bankruptcy, but because of something far more alarming. Ford's shocking decision and trade backdrop. Ford, one of America's oldest automakers, has just announced it will suspend operations at multiple U.S. factories. This move isn't driven by weak demand. It's driven by skyrocketing costs, especially after higher tariffs on imported parts and materials. The global auto market is shifting fast. While international competitors produce more cheaply, U.S. automakers are finding it harder to maintain margins. Ford now plans to expand manufacturing in Mexico, Southeast Asia, and Europe, where tax structures are more favorable, labor is cheaper, and trade policies are more stable. Crucially, this decision came right after new tariff measures were introduced targeting trade partners, especially in the auto sector. Economic impact: losing jobs, losing an entire ecosystem. The impact isn't confined to Ford. Thousands of workers will be laid off. The factories, once the beating hearts of their local communities, will soon fall silent. But the chain reaction goes much further. Every Ford plant closure disrupts an entire economic ecosystem. Parts suppliers, logistics providers will all be hit. This isn't just Ford's loss. It's a regional economic collapse. Worse yet, the move sets a dangerous precedent. If Ford can't survive here, who can? Will GM, Stellantis, or even Toyota follow? Policy response and corporate pressure. Ford's announcement triggered immediate backlash. Top officials called it a betrayal of American workers and floated a 25% tariff on all vehicles not made in the US. But will threats like that actually work? If costs keep rising and tariffs escalate, what incentives remain for companies to stay? History shows protectionist policies don't guarantee corporate loyalty. Instead, they push companies to restructure, relocate, or decentralize to avoid risk. Ford's new global strategy. Ford is no longer just a domestic company. It's a node in a global supply chain. In today's world, manufacturers don't rely on one country. They build plants in low-cost regions. Ford is now restructuring its entire production model, integrating AI, automation, and energy-efficient technologies. Even R&D centers are migrating to countries with more flexible IP rules and lower testing costs. The long-term effect on local communities. When a factory shuts down, it's not just a padlocked gate. It's a lost budget for public schools, a collapsing housing market, an entire generation leaving town in search of work. Towns built around manufacturing must now face shrinking populations, budget deficits, and declining access to healthcare. Meanwhile, the countries that absorb Ford's production will benefit immensely. Signs of a new era. Ford is just the beginning. When companies weigh cost versus patriotism, efficiency almost always wins. Major corporations will no longer place all bets on one country. Instead, they'll spread plants, capital, and talent across multiple regions to stay agile and profitable. This shift comes with a stark implication. Countries that don't stay competitive in policy, cost, and innovation will be left behind.